In India, where spirituality takes countless forms, there exists a tradition that unsettles, disturbs, and often scandalizes. The Aghori do not seek approval or understanding. Their spiritual path does not revolve around outward purity, but around the radical demolition of fear, illusion, and every boundary between the sacred and the profane. To understand them, quick judgment must be abandoned. The Aghori are not a relic of the past nor a marginal cult without coherence. They represent the extreme and internally consistent expression of an ancient philosophical current within Hinduism, Tantric Shaivism. The Aghori emerged as a recognizable tradition around the 14th century, although their roots go much further back. They consider themselves direct heirs of the Kapalikas, Tantric ascetics who, already in the first millennium, practiced rituals in cremation grounds, carried human skulls, and meditated on the impermanence of the body. Their foundational figure is Baba Kenaram, a mystic who lived in Varanasi and gave structure, lineage, and continuity to the Aghori path. Kenaram did not invent the tradition, but he shaped it into a coherent spiritual discipline. At the core of their worldview lies a radical premise: everything is Shiva. Nothing in the universe is impure. Impurity is a mental construct. If all reality is a manifestation of the absolute, then death, disease, excrement, and the corpse are also manifestations of it. From this follows their uncompromising logic: whatever provokes disgust, fear, or rejection is precisely where the ego holds its strongest grip. And where the ego rules, liberation cannot occur. Shiva and the dissolution of the ego. The central deity of the Aghori is Shiva, not in his benevolent form, but as Mahakala, lord of time, destruction, and cremation grounds. Shiva does not beautify existence, he strips it bare. For an Aghori, the goal is not social morality, but non-dual realization, the direct experience that no separation exists between oneself and the universe. The greatest obstacle to this realization is the ego, and the ego feeds on preferences, aversions, and fear. This is why the Aghori does not flee from what society labels impure. He consciously embraces it until it loses its power. The cremation ground as classroom. The image of the Aghori covered in ashes, seated among funeral pyres, is not theatrical. It is pedagogical. Their primary place of practice is the cremation ground, especially in Varanasi, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world and the epicenter of ritual death in India. There they meditate on decomposing bodies, use human skulls as ritual bowls, kapala, and, in rare cases, consume small amounts of human flesh taken from unclaimed corpses. This is not an act of violence or indulgence, but a conscious exercise aimed at dismantling revulsion and confronting the ultimate fear, death. This aspect often attracts sensational headlines. Clarity matters. Not all Aghori practice cannibalism. It is neither common nor central to the path. It is a rare, symbolic, and extreme practice. The majority of their discipline rests on mantras, prolonged meditation, severe austerities, and total renunciation. The Aghori live outside conventional society. They do not pursue family life, status, or accumulation. Many wander as renunciant ascetics, others reside in small aghoras or spiritual shelters. Paradoxically, those who embrace absolute impurity often prove to be the least hypocritical. Within the Aghori tradition, lepers, the dying, the marginalized, and those rejected by the caste system are accepted. Where society sees human waste, the Aghori see an opportunity for spiritual service. Here lies an uncomfortable contradiction for modern observers. Despite their extreme practices, Aghori have historically acted as caregivers for the untouchables. The modern era, between myth and spectacle. Today, the Aghori live in constant tension. On one side, modern, touristic, media-driven India turns them into spectacle. Cameras, sensationalist documentaries, and social media have distorted their image, reducing them to caricatures of cannibal sadhus. On the other side, the authentic tradition continues quietly. Contemporary figures such as Baba Siddharth Gautam Ram have attempted to redirect the path toward a greater balance between inner practice and social service, establishing hospitals and aid centers without abandoning non-dual philosophy. The modern Aghori understands that external provocation no longer liberates as it once did. Today, the real work lies in dismantling the spiritual ego, not merely the social one. Do the Aghori have a future? It is an uncomfortable question, and the answer is equally uncomfortable. The Aghori do not seek expansion, growth, or adaptation. They do not proselytize. They do not recruit. Their path was never designed for the masses. In a world obsessed with comfort, hygiene, and image, their proposal feels almost unnatural. Yet their future value does not lie in numbers, but in reminder. The Aghori exist to point toward what modern civilization avoids, that denying death does not make us immortal, that repressing darkness does not make us luminous, and that spirituality without confrontation is merely ego decoration. As long as fear of death, rejection of the body, and obsession with appearances persist, the Aghori path will retain its relevance even if only for a few. They are not here to be liked. They are here to unsettle, and sometimes, unsettling is the most honest form of teaching.